In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the Puppet Warp tool to warp and change your objects in a similar fashion to how you use the transform. So, first thing that you really want to do is it works best on a singular object as opposed to an entire background. So I have cropped out this figure from its background so I can move it around and play with it. You're going to come to the top bar under Edit, and you're going to come down to Puppet Warp. Once you click it, what's going to happen is it's going to put a mesh over the entire object. And you can kind of come up to here and you can change the mesh density. And that'll change a little bit of how it functions and how much it distorts when you warp things. What this works like is you want to imagine a kind of a stretchy piece of fabric. Now, everywhere I put a pin in it, I can move that fabric around. But if I put a pin in another area and I move it, it stays linked to the other pin. And so I can stretch it out and I can put multiple pins in it to kind of play around with the design. I can also click on multiple pins at the same time by holding Shift and clicking that pin. So now I can move 2 pins at once. And if I hold Option, I can cut a pin away and it'll remove it. So I think I kind of like this figure looking like they're flying and falling downward as opposed to what I had them before. Although I think I moved them a little high. So I can come up to here and I can come to Puppet Warp again. I can put a pin in it and I can move it. Some good practices for using this is if you want to bend something, like I want to bend this leg, you want to think of it like bones and where joints are. So I'm going to put a point in its knee and a point in the ankles. And so I can bend it. And you can see that other points are starting to wiggle and move a little bit too. So sometimes it can be helpful if you want something to not move, you put a couple pins in the area that you want to stay still. That way, it'll be hard for it to wiggle or move anything. And then I'll highlight the pin I want to move and then move it. I think the shin got bent a little bit, so I'm going to tilt that. And now I'm pretty happy with it. So once I'm happy, I can press Enter, or I can come up to here and press the check mark. And now it is changed. So that is the Puppet Warp tool.